Okay, so what was I doing now? I think we should talk to... Yes, phone, I know there's a thing going on. I've been getting like lots and lots of phone calls today. I'll pick up, I say hello. There's no response. Annoying. Practice shop is sweltering hot. Even more so than it was the first time you stepped inside. Aware of actuators. Actuators. Okay, I'm dumb. Yeah. Accompanies the fine motions of the manipulator arms that hang from the ceiling. They are turning an object over and over in their articulated hands, soldering wires and hammering rivets. Ah, my friend. Welcome back. Ractor touch types a series of commands into his bracer, and the arms relax into an idle posture. He smiles at you, a cigarette dangling from his lip. There, that's better. Now, what can I do for you? How are you getting along with the other members of the team? Perfectly well, thank you. They all seem competent enough, and there haven't been any major personality conflicts so far. He rubs his chin thoughtfully. So long as they continue performing to an acceptable standard, I can see no reason not to continue our arrangement. It's good to run with a team again. Yeah, if anything changes, let me know. It's important that the team's morale stays high. He raises a finger. You don't manage morale, my friend. You manage the team. So long as we continue to succeed, morale will take care of itself. Okay. Oh, you're still something of a mystery to the group Ractor. Mind if I ask you a few questions? No, I don't mind. Not at all. Takes a drag on a cigarette, then slowly releases the smoke. I can't promise that my answers will satisfy your curiosity, of course, but you may certainly ask. Okay, what was it like growing up in the Russian Republic? Tumultuous, as you might expect. You probably aren't old enough to remember the Euro Wars, but I am. Oh, I would like to hear about them. My country was the instigator of the first Euro War back in 30. I remember the rhetoric, the hardships of living under a wartime economy, the rampant xenophobia that took hold. I remember how we all cheered when our forces invaded Poland. Oh. 3 months. That was all that it took for our military to crush what meager resistance the Poles could bring to bear. It was quite a source of national pride at home. Oh, it's not very prideful. It's not really an achievement for Russia to beat up Poland in 3 months. If it was 3 days, then yeah, sure. I remember our drive into Germany and the desperate bid to reclaim the eastern portion of that country to ourselves. Just think about the symbolic significance of such an act. An audacious move, to be sure, but Secretary Rapunin was determined to make history. Yeah, the same way that Stalin was. I believe that Rapunin was more concerned with the opinions of his own people than he was with his place in the history books. And in truth, I cannot fault him for this. For the 4 months that the war lasted, he did bring the country together. But alas, the Night Wraith incident put an end to our march and sent our forces into full retreat. Wait, Night Wraith, what's that? British-made fighter bombers with stealthy capabilities. Very state-of-the-art, very powerful. At least, that's what they were purported to have been. Nobody has ever come forward to accept responsibility for the attack. Regardless of who was behind it, the result was that this was the same. Wave upon wave of bombings that targeted our forces and the Germans alike, coupled with the assassination of dozens of military leaders. A devastating, synchronized operation, expertly carried over the course of a single night. At home, viral attacks shut down our power grids, Hundreds of thousands of Russian homes found themselves without heat or electricity in the dead of winter. Oh wait, did Russia lose the Russian winter? Oh wow. Koshchei scuttles forward, allowing the rigger to rest his hand on the sloping metal of its chassis. Ractor stares at his own deformed reflection and the metal of the drone's body, a sad smile on his face. I remember huddling under a mountain of cheap blankets that my mother had piled up on my bed. They did little to protect me from the cold, but they were something that I could hang on to. Something tangible that I associated with warmth and comfort and home. There, as my body trembled and I watched my breath frost over, horrible truth descended upon me. We had caused this. We were the villains of the First Euro War. For the first time, I came face to face with what Kroponin's folly had brought us, and there, under that ridiculous heap of rags, I came to realize what would surely come to pass. The world taught us villains, and so they would treat us like villains. We would be pariahs on the international stage, crippled by retributive sanctions. We would never live down the shame. He wipes his hands as if cleaning them. A wry smile spreads across his face. And then the AFA invaded Greece and Spain, sparking off Euro War II. We redeployed our troops to help repel them, and all was made right again. Not sure what AFA is. I mean, I have to imagine that you still had enemies in Poland and Germany, even after the start of the Second War. Oh, we were still regarded with suspicion, of course, but all of Europe might have fallen if it hadn't been for our help. In essence, we took back our reputation at gunpoint. Not an ideal solution, but it worked. Within the span of 4 months, we Russians had gone from nobodies to a terrible threat to unlikely saviors in the eyes of the Western world. Studying exactly how this happened has taught me a great deal about human psychology and social dynamics. Okay. Human psychology. Say that as if you weren't one. He laughs. Just a figure of speech, my friend, nothing more. Now, shall we talk about something else? Surely there are more interesting and relevant things to discuss. Yeah, who was the AFA? Takes a drag on a cigarette. Ah, yes, I suppose that you wouldn't know. They were only active for the years surrounding the conflict after all. The AFA was the Alliance for Allah, serving under Mullah Saeed Jazir, a coalition of right-wing Middle Eastern governments that assembled after the failure, some say sabotage, of the United Islamic Conference. They looked to a weakened Europe and saw an opportunity, one that my country was entirely responsible for creating. So they launched a surprise attack. Yes, but in hindsight, we should have foreseen it. Ultimately, the AFA did what any hawkish power would have done in their position. I cannot fault them for taking advantage of Europe's weakened state, given the circumstances. They would have been foolish not to. Okay, so how did the war end? The AFA folded in turn 7 after Jazir's assassination. A lucky thing for us too. The body count could have been a great deal higher. In the years that they were active, the AFA gave us a hell of a fight. Okay, did you emigrate directly from Russia to Hong Kong? He didn't. He speaks like 15 languages. And now he's here in Hong Kong. So no, the answer is no, I'm guessing. No. Between my years in Nizhny Novgorod and my time here in Hioi, I spent a year in the free city of Berlin. That was where I got my feet wet as a Shadowrunner, you see. I ran with a team of anarchists for a time and learned the ropes for the occupation under their tutelage. Oh, must have been interesting. He shrugs. It was... Good point. They were disorganized, to be sure, but perfectly capable. We enjoyed a certain level of camaraderie while we ran together. Sadly, we are no longer on the best of terms. Oh, what happened? An opportunity arose and I seized it. In doing so, I left Berlin for Hong Kong, and I did so without much advance notice. My absence made life difficult for them, and they blamed me for their hardships. I mean, he's a big boy. He's under no obligation to stay with them. He should have told them, but he's not obliged to be with them all the time. Thank you for taking my side, but I can see their point as well. As I said, my departure caused some complications for them. That said, I haven't lost any sleep over it. I merely did what I had to do. He looks away, a wistful expression on his face. Koshchei scrapes the ground with his forelegs, its sensors fixed firmly on you. Ultimately, I would say that my time in Berlin was quite educational. Different from my earlier life in Russia, to be sure. As I said, the experience was invaluable. Ultimately, though, Hioi is probably better suited to my sensibilities. How so? Life in Hong Kong is more structured than it is in Berlin. Things make sense here in the way that the flux state didn't. He taps a finger to his temple. I have an orderly mind. Everything is in its place, neatly labeled and filed away. This approach is what allows me to make sense of the world. To say that the people I knew in Berlin thought differently would be an understatement. Okay, why did he go to Berlin, though? He holds his tongue for a moment, considering. When we first met, I told you that I parted ways with Grishin Aviakor under unfortunate circumstances, yes? You did mention it, yeah. These same circumstances led me to Berlin. I was wronged, and I would not find recourse in Russia. He sighs. I suppose that there's no sense in being vague. I'll tell you the story if you want to hear it. Yeah, sure, tell me. You may remember the self-repair system I mentioned the first time we met. The module that would allow Koshchei or any sufficiently equipped drone to repair itself. I told you that my research has been lost. That was not strictly true. It was stolen by a pair of colleagues who I had long considered friends. They were researchers from my old lab. They turned against me, stole our work, in truth my work, and defected. Why would they do that? Desperation and ambition. I had always been fixated on getting out of Russia. Grishin Aviakor was a nationalized corporation, and they would never get rich as cogs in a government-controlled machine. In our project, they saw their key to breaking away and earning their fortunes. Never mind the fact that I was opposed to the idea. Okay. Did you have any leads as to where they might have gone? Yes. The two had long spoken about moving to Berlin. Such was true of a great many academics in Russia. My homeland is a bureaucratic dictatorship, you see. There is little personal freedom, and there are many rules to be followed. As you might imagine, the stable anarchy of the flux state can be an alluring concept to those who live under totalitarian rule. Berlin is much romanticized back home. So you assumed they would go to Berlin? It was the only thing that I had to go on. At best, I would find them. At worst, it would be a good place to rebuild my life. And of course, to establish the web of contacts that I'd need to track my betrayers down. There's a squeal of tortured metal as Koshchei drags its claws over the iron grating that covers the floor. Rakter glances down at the drone and it goes calm. He takes a deep breath and continues. It took me over a year to locate my former friends. It was a long, painstaking search, but I was nothing if not determined. I finally found evidence that they'd used my research as a bargaining chip to secure positions at Addis, and that they were here in Hong Kong. Oh, are we gonna do a mission for you? And so you came here, huh? Nods. I picked up and left the next day. My old team was upset, to be sure. Lucky Strike in particular howled for my blood, but I know where my priorities lie. And so here I am, and here they are, and soon I will be ready to act. I really must thank you for inviting me into the team. Your abilities will be invaluable when the time finally comes to make my move. Assuming, of course, that you'd be willing to help. Yeah, sure, say the word. Thank you, my friend. This is a discussion for another day. We aren't ready to hit Anaris facility yet, and there is more intelligence to gather before we make our move anyway. When the time comes, I will let you know. Let's talk until the end. Let's just talk about everything that we can with them. The stolen research means more to you than money, doesn't it? He nods his head. Yes. Yes. Much more. It was my life's work, and it was important. Reducing it to a bargaining chip was a deadly insult, both to me and to all those who would benefit from my work. I don't think I've seen you get this intense about anything. Corner of his mouth tilts upward. I suppose that's probably true. This is a matter that's near to my heart. Indeed, it ties into the guiding philosophy of my life. Tell me, are you familiar with the concept of transhumanism? The transformation of humanity as a species by technological means? I mean, sure, if I'm not mistaken, we're already living in a transhumanist present. Yes, that's right. Transhumanism is no longer a philosophy, it's a fact. Look around you. Cybernetics are an important aspect of everyday life. Further, I would argue that the synthesis of man and machine is the crowning achievement of metahumanity as a people. Okay, sure. In such a future, capacity for unlimited self-repair would be indistinguishable from immortality. You can see then why the theft of my research came as such a blow. My former colleagues hadn't just stolen from me. They'd taken my contribution to the future of our species and reduced it to a bargaining chip. Okay. Okay, I guess I would be upset too. I was more than upset, my friend. I was livid. I still am. But all will be made right in the fullness of time. I am not going... I'm nothing if not a patient man. I can wait. He rises, brushes himself off. With that, I'm afraid that I'm going to have to bid you good night. I've taken enough of a break for one evening. There is still work to be done, and it would be lax of me to put it aside any longer. Thanks, Ractor. It was interesting. Nods to you. Good night. Okay, that was fun. Actually, let me see. Before I select a mission. Let me go to the doctor and see what kind of stuff we can get. I probably can't get the stuff that I'm looking for right now. Now, if I look at myself here, 5 spells. I have 8 points. I could go for some spell casting. Was it? If I get 3 points of spirit of summoning, if I get the third point here, so I need 2 more points here. I would be able to get a totem, which would give me bonuses, and apparently Leopard, the Panther, but a different one, is +1 move and +1 armor, which is pretty nice. Examine the computer. Let's look at the computer. This impressive home-built computer is running multiple large memory units and processors. chilled air from its active cooling system washes across you to the whir of fans. A thin fiber optic cable runs across the floor to Ambrose in his chair. On the wall behind the computer are miscellaneous decorations, notes and photos. Two items stand out, a large dry erase calendar and a corkboard plastered with printouts. Let's see the corkboard. News clippings and BBS posts have been printed, carefully snipped and pinned in place. Most are less than a year old. They intermixed with grainy photographs of what looks like a devastated city, Chicago. The news articles described an outbreak of a virulent version of the Vitas plague in the city, and the subsequent quarantine of a zone containing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. The newest items are plain text bulletin board postings, printed out. The very fact that they're from so crude a site is strange. Very, very few Matrix sites are so plain. Okay. Let's look at the postings. Files smuggled out from within the containment zone. They describe a cover-up, the detonation of a small nuclear weapon, and the catastrophic release of insect spirits into the city. Current conditions are as reported by drones, and escapees are horrific. Oh, this is about Shadowrun Returns, isn't it? Then have Academic or Shadowrunner ticket. The postings are from a simple bulletin board system, such as would usually be used only when bandwidth is at a premium or data has been sent long distances, like thousands of kilometers. You can pick up some recurring statements that seem to refer to the venue. The BBS Shadowland. Primary moderator looks like someone named Captain Chaos. These postings are probably from the North American Dark Matrix site that operates out of the Denver Data Haven, the so-called Shadowland, supposedly the global mothership of Matrix havens for runners. Okay, what about the calendar? The dry erase calendar is cluttered with a relentless storm of commitments, written in cramped, sloppy handsy. Most appear to be medical appointments with patients, followed by a busy list of social engagements. Closer scrutiny reveals others. A basic mechanics class on Wednesday nights, basic computer coding, Sunday afternoons. Before both of these, inked in red marker, is prepare lesson plan, you stupid idiot. Holidays, big combat out races, birthdays. Every Sunday until 4 PM is simply labelled engine. Only 5 hours a night are allocated to sleep, but large swathes of time are conspicuously labelled hangover. Nice. Okay, Doc, I need to know what kind of stuff do you have? Hey, my fellow countryman returns. You want some chips and a dip? Help yourself, it's on the engine block. A spider drone walks past you carrying a biohazard bag with a severed arm in it. There's a big Sahara Combat League race tonight. Everybody's coming over, you wanna come? No, I'll bet Canley's keeping you busy. Show me your services. I don't think I need to talk to him. Cyberware. Now, can I uninstall a thing? I guess I could get this one and trade in this one, so I could save some points. Seems like I can't get rid of cyber implants, so that's a shame. Okay, I want to see arms, muscle augmentation. Is this something like that? Quickness and ranged combat. That's a pretty nice one. It's relatively cheap. Oh, that's a pretty good one. It doesn't cost any essence too. Well, but there's nothing that gives me +1 strength and +1 quickness. Apparently there's a... I guess there's gonna be another one later. And what about body? There's a... Suprathyroid. This one. It's only half a point. Okay, but it is 2,150 million. So that's gonna be expensive, but I'm gonna want this. This one's also good, +1 movement. Yeah, but this one gives me +1 strength, body, and quickness, so that's also pretty nice. Depends on how expensive the arms are gonna be. But if they're gonna be like a 0.5, then I'm probably gonna need Cyberware Affinity. Yeah, I'm most likely gonna need this anyway. Because I don't want to lose that spell slot. Maybe I will. It depends, because I'm only gonna want 5 spells in the end. I'm gonna want Mystic Armor. I'm gonna want the Bonded... What is it? The Bonded spell, Killing Hands and Stride. I can get that one. That basically gives me 1 free slot. Pain Resistance is G-casting 9. Martial Defense 1, which I think I already have. Because this is Martial Defense 2, so I think Martial Defense 1 was here. No, Magic Resistance. This one, Martial Defense 1. And I want Lightning Strikes. Lightning Strike, which I already have. Yeah, so these ones are gonna be connected. We already have... We have Quick Strike. We're gonna want to upgrade the Quick Strike into a Lightning Strike. Okay. Yeah, if I could get rid of this. I shouldn't have taken this. I may not have enough essence. It depends. It's not a big deal, because I haven't gotten my second spell slot yet. Wait, this is gonna give me a spell slot. Okay, 6. Wait, what is... Okay, this is Lightning Strike. So level 7 is kind of important then. And strengths. I'm not gonna go further with close combat. At least not yet. Okay, let's go select a mission. Also, let's go to the BBS, see what's up. Oh, hey, we have a lot of stuff to read. Maybe it's not that important. Do we have any paid data? Oh yeah, we can post the Repulse Bay construction plans. Posting successful. Okay. New messages. No messages. Old messages. Fine. Jobs. Pending jobs. You want to go to Serial Killer, Urgent Task, Restaurant Jobs, Geomantic Sabotage. could go for the geomantic sabotage, maybe? Geomancy is a big business in the free enterprise zone. Here in Hong Kong, Feng Shui isn't just the act of rearranging your kitchen to make things look pretty. The fortunes of empires rise and fall with the ebb and flow of qi, and sometimes that flow needs a helping hand. Wuxing Incorporated are the preeminent practitioners of large-scale qi manipulation here in the free enterprise zone. They've gone to great lengths to channel qi from all over Hong Kong into their headquarters, an enormous monstrosity that they call the Wuxing Sky Tower. There, it is focused and transformed into good fortune through the building's geometrically attuned architecture and interior decoration. Our client believes that it is time for Wuxing's good luck to run out. You are to infiltrate the Sky Tower and disrupt the flow of qi through the building. You are to do so in two distinct fashions. First, you must disrupt the feng shui of the offices by subtly altering the environment to that of their level. This will consist of minor adjustments of desks, spilled water, and other small activities that are unlikely to go noticed. Ordinarily, even subtle disturbances of this nature would be noticed. This is why the client wishes you to make a much louder demonstration on the rooftop garden. The garden is to be ransacked, utterly destroyed, set fire to things, uproot trees, that kind of thing. Our client has also specified that he would like you to destroy the large Buddhist statue in the garden, smash the thing to bits and leave them scattered across the rooftop. This level of destruction will keep Wuxing's geomancers busy long enough that the more subtle disruptions below will take effect. In addition, it will send the kind of message our client would like Wuxing to hear. I have utmost faith in your ability to cause destruction. The more disruption you can cause on both levels of a Sky Tower, the happier the client will be. As you're not a spellcaster yourself, it may be wise to bring Gobbet along. You'll be able to see the most effective ways to disrupt the qi of a building. Okay, let's take it. And kindly Cheng. Good. Contact me when you've finished the job, and I'll send you your cut of the payment. Okay. And I just wanna see. Just a second. I do have a security etiquette, and that's gonna be useful to get some bonus points here in this mission. So I'm gonna do it. Travel to the Wuxing Sky Tower to commit geomantic sabotage. We are gonna get Gobbet with us, Isabel, and if anything, I don't need Duncan, because Rakta has the drone, and there may be some things that we can get done with the drone that we can't with Duncan. Like, Duncan is nice and all, but he doesn't have anything that I don't have. Yeah, I think this is fine. I'm sorry, Duncan, you're just redundant. Oh, he does have a better weapon though. He did get a better weapon. I'm not sure if Gobbet has a better weapon, but Duncan does. So, you're about to travel to the Wuxing Sky Tower. Continue? Yes.